Good morning, everyone. It's the one, the only Senor Silverback coming to you live on another edition of Mornings with V and CJ Rogue Money Mornings. Unfortunately, the master of the flux capacitor cannot fly with me this morning, and so I am here solo, flying solo and dolo. We shall see what happens as the days go on. With that being said, guys, you can follow me follow us on Twitter at the Rogue Money, and check us out on RogueMoney.net, the preeminent, fastest growing news site on the planet when it comes to all the news and the views that's important to you. And check us out on Rogue Money, the Facebook page, Rogue Money, the podcasting app. If you haven't got the podcasting app, I recommend you go to the Apple Play Store or the Google Play Store and download it. Okay, so it's pretty awesome. With that being said, hold on as I turn my volume up even higher. Beautiful, perfect, good. I'm trying to do this without my main man. And also check us out on, I don't even know what app I gave you. But anyway, just check out all the apps. We're all there. We're everywhere you want us to be. Apple News app, there you go. That's what I was missing. Check out our sponsors as well, myfreedomnow.us, myfreedomnow.us. If you need your credit fixed, go there. If you need to get out of debt, go there. Heck, if your credit is absolutely pristine and perfect and you like to get some money, who doesn't like money? Who doesn't like money? And try to get some money to have that money work for you, go to myfreedomnow.us and learn how you can get up to $600,000 unsecured because they deal with a network of 335 lenders. myfreedomnow.us. With that being said, let me find out what's crack-lacking with myself because my main man's not here. Anyway, guys, today's coffee is Sumatra Dark Roast, brought proudly to you by Starbucks, and I'm not getting a penny to say this. With that being said, let's get into it. I think the first bit of news I want to get into is this, okay? Where do I begin? Well, we all know about all the shenanigans that's going on in D.C. The Kabuki Theater. If you look at it, they're like, oh, more leaks are coming out. Mueller. It's a crap show. This is a crap show. Political Kabuki Theater put out by morons for the consumption of morons. But you people that are in this audience that are listening right now, you're too smart for this BS. You know that this is a crap show, and this crap show will continue. But what is disheartening, and what I love, it's actually not disheartening. Okay, there's a lot of rhetoric out there saying, oh my God, civil war, civil war, civil war. Don't fall for it. There's no civil war. You have a far left fringe. Okay, the 1% of the 99% of the far leftists who actually have the balls to actually do something are acting up. And when you have beta males acting up, this is the kind of things that happen, all right? Don't worry about this whole Civil War rhetoric. It's not going to happen. The majority of Americans understand and see through this BS. The majority of Americans give no credence to CNN, MSLSD, CNBS, and all the other alphabet news channels. They don't care. How do I know that? Their numbers reflect that. Okay? Their numbers reflect that. And now you're hearing stuff, my President Mike Pence. How about we have Mike Pence? Mike Pence is not going to be president. They're not going to remove Trump, period. Not going to happen. This is the hill these a-holes decided to join and lock arms in and die on. This is the hill that they said this is going to be our last stand. So go ahead, leftists, as I give you a clap. Go ahead, establishment, as I cheer you on and die on that hill. Because you will be set back at least 150 years. At least. How do we know that the U.S. is breaking down? The establishment doesn't have the type of pull that it has. And every single day and every single month, you see evidence upon evidence upon evidence that the entire relationship, the entire influence that the United States has globally with many nations is pretty much non-existent. The latest news, while Kabuki theater is going on, trying to distract all of us, the latest news is that Germany, oh my God, Germany, Austria, okay, slammed U.S. sanctions against Russia, and they warn of collapse in relationships less than a day, the article says, after the Senate overwhelmingly voted to impose new sanctions against the Kremlin on Thursday. Germany and Austria, two of Russia's biggest energy clients. And remember, guys, when the whole Russian sanctions happened in 2014, okay, I was on the air and I said there's over 6 million corporations in Germany that are affected by this, and tens of millions of German jobs that are affected by sanctions against Russia. And that is proved to be true. They are literally, at that point, cutting their nose to spite their face. A really stupid move at the highest regard. Okay? So they happen to be Russia's biggest energy clients. And shortly after the Senate voted on Wednesday to slap new sanctions on key sectors of the Russian economy over quote-unquote interference in the 2016 elections and aggression in Syria and Ukraine, in a joint statement, Austria's Chancellor, Christian Kern, and Germany's Foreign Minister, Sigmar Gabriel, said it appeared that the Senate bill was aimed at securing U.S. energy jobs and pushing out Russian gas deliveries to Europe. You see, here's the deal. Okay, here's the deal. This is where the whole Qatari thing comes into play, and I'm gonna tie it all down and connect it for you guys the only way the gorilla can, like nobody else can. Okay? Here's the deal. If you remember the whole 2013 Syrian fiasco when the U.S. was sent packing and told to go pound sand, and the U.S. went away, but then we started coming back in, middling and fiddling covertly. We tried to covertly take out Syria. Okay, we couldn't do it overtly with airstrikes with our little pretext, little false flag army called ISIS. We couldn't do that. So we were working with all sorts of quote unquote moderate groups, and there was nothing moderate about these idiots. Just like the Free Syrian Army, they're not free and they're not Syrian. Okay, and they're not no army. It is a Muslim militia. It is a mercenary group of Muslims. Say that fast 3 times. Okay. Now, during that time, what was the plan that was outlaid by the U.S.? We're going to start the Syria thing. When that failed, they immediately started the Ukraine thing and the Syria thing at the same time. And what was the solution? The solution was to the Russian alternative. Already there's pipelines. We have the Nord Stream pipeline, and we have the South Stream pipeline, which was canceled because the U.S. put pressure on Latvia. And the U.S. the Latvies in Latvia and Bulgaria said, okay. And then Romania said, okay, we'll cancel the building of the Russian South Stream pipeline in order to appease you guys. So there won't be any further pipelines going into the European continent. Fine, we'll do that. And in return, we'll let your oil companies, headed by Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden, to come over and destroy our water tables and pollute our environment using hydrofracking to extract natural gas. And now the Romanians have exploding water that's coming out of their faucets, kind of like many residents in Pennsylvania and some that line the Marcellus Shale in PA are experiencing today. Okay? So during that time, the U.S. was saying, okay, we're going to stop this pipeline. And Europe's like, wait a minute, you're cutting off our energy supplies. How the hell are we going to keep warm? How are we going to keep warm? Well, that's easy. We'll get you liquid natural gas compressed. Okay, well, who's going to compress for it? Qatar. So Qatar was to pick up the slack for the Russian energy. Okay? They were supposed to pick up the slack for the lack of Russian supplies. And the goal was, and this is their setup, the Europeans are like, all right, fine, how are you going to deliver? We have no pipelines coming from Qatar. No worries, and since your war in Syria is amounting to nothing and going nowhere, how are we going to get the LNG over to where we are in Europe? No problem, says the United States. Again, like I told you folks, we're a nation led by short-sighted idiots who think in 4-year increments. Remember that. Do not be afraid of these quote-unquote elitists. It is a nation, okay? It is a nation led by idiots who think in 4-year increments. So our idiot geniuses, our wonderful leaders who sit around and circle jerk each other, waiting for the next election to pop in so they can go fundraise, which is all they do with the majority of their time is fundraise. These guys had a wonderful idea. All right, Qatar, we don't have no pipelines. The whole Syria game ain't going nowhere. It's complete flop. Ukraine is turned into a fail state. The Russians are winning. So this is what we're going to do, Qatar. We're going to take the LNG out of your country, bring it to the East Coast and in the Gulf Coast in the United States. We're going to refine the LNG. We're going to put it in containers, slap it into a shipping container as well, and then ship it across to Europe on the ocean. And the Europeans are like, are you freaking mad? How does that make sense? How does that make sense that you want us to go ahead and wait this long? That's not going to pick up a supply slack. That's not going to pick up the slack in supply when you guys decide to go ahead and sanction Russia and cut off our energy. That don't make no damn sense. But that's the plan the U.S. is running because what? There's no alternatives. We are a nation that do stupid things without looking at an alternative. We're going to go into Iraq. Oh, why are we going to Iraq? Because they're beyond 9/11. Oh, really? Then what? And we're going to be greeted as freedom fighters. Okay, what's the exit strategy? We don't have none. That's American thinking these days. Back in the days, we'd have an entry plan, and while we're there plan, an exit strategy, and actually, hell, 50 different exit strategies. Now the moronic powers that be have no exit strategy. The motto, and I got this from a good buddy of mine who's freaking saved the country multiple times, is from another aspect of the government that many people don't even know about. It. I call him Mr. Z. He'll never come on the radio, but he coined a term for me that stuck with me years ago. He said the whole philosophy of bureaucrats and the establishment that are in power and the Atlanticists that are in power in the West and in the U.S. is run to failure. And I said, damn it, that is the best thing I've ever heard. Run to failure. Because that's exactly what it is. There's no other plan beyond this. So now you have, in the midst of Kabuki theater, here's Germany and Austria. Historically, Germany and Austria walk in lockstep. In fact, if you study the 1929 stock market crash and depression, it actually started in Austria, went to Germany, then over across the ocean into the Atlantic to us. So Austria and Germany's always walked in lockstep. Their banking sectors have always walked in lockstep. That's why years ago I've said it, a couple other guys, a handful of guys, you can count on one hand, have said this as well. London Paul says it, Jim Willie said it. Don't look at what these idiot politicians are telling you. Look at people like foreign ministers. Look at guys who are actually close to the banking sectors or close to the captains of industry that are in these countries like in Germany. What are they saying? What are they saying since day one? What they're saying since day one is simple. No sanctions on Russia. We don't want sanctions. It's killing us. It's killing our businesses. What are we doing here? And a forceful appeal to two officials urged the United States to back off from linking the situation in Ukraine to the question of who can sell gas to Europe. Europe, quote unquote, Europe's energy supply is a matter for Europe and not for the United States of America. And the reason why Europe is angry, some Eastern European countries, including Poland and Ukraine, fear the loss of transit revenue if Russian gas supplies don't pass through their territory anymore once the new pipeline is built. Da-da-da! European plutocrats that are in Belgium, say that fast, these kleptocrats that are in Belgium, far removed from freaking reality. Okay? These guys in their ivory tower, their little Tower of Babel, their little Tower of Brussels, have said, hey, this is a great idea. Let's, Washington, D.C. comes around and throws us a couple of bags of money. And what do? Again, using the Washington American model of cause, but no effect. We'll take the money. We'll cut off the European gas supplies. How we get new gas supplies, we don't freaking know. We don't know. We have no clue. And you see the short-sightedness. You see that. And now they're paying for it. So now Russia's building Nord Stream 2. That's going to go through Turkey. You're going to see this entire real. And then the Europeans are like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. This is serious. That's why the Europeans are saying we cannot accept the threat of illegal and extraterritorial sanctions against European companies. They're warning the United States the Nord Stream 2 pipeline that would pump Russian gas to Germany beneath the Baltic Sea, according to the AP, the Associated Press. Half the cost of the new pipeline is being paid for by the Russian gas giant Gazprom, while the other half is being shouldered by a group including Anglo-Dutch group Royal Dutch Shell. Oh my God. French provider ENGIE. I can also say that Total Petroleum is involved. Total's never stopped supporting Russia. They're there every year at the St. Petersburg Economic Forum, every year like clockwork. French energy provider ENGIE, OMV of Austria, Germany's Uniper. And the concern was echoed by Russia's energy giant Gazprom, whose deputy CEO, Alexander Medvedev, said the Senate's plan for extended sanctions to cover Nord Stream 2 gas pipeline project is a way to secure U.S. LNG in Europe. There you go, just like I said. He also said that the project is proceeding in line with a plan and that has already received more than 1 billion euros from Nord Stream 2 partners, chief among which is Germany and Austria. In light of the recent media frenzy in the U.S., we are skeptical the Senate will undo its decision. See that? You see that? You see that? Qatar is the LNG provider. And then you see the situation, the fiascos in Qatar, for whatever darn reason, I don't fully know at this point. Okay? I don't even fully know. So that the whole situation is, folks, it's a absolutely dubious situation that they're in. Hold on, Caesar just texted me. I have to text him back. And you see it, right? And why can't the situation be resolved? Why can't these sanctions be undone? Well, we got to put these sanctions because there was Russian hacking. There was Russian collusion. There was Russian dressing. There was Russian ballet. I mean, there was Russian vodka in the president's limo. So the Russian narrative, when you look at it, has multiple angles to it. Number one, it's a way to slow down Donald Trump. They can't impeach him. There's nothing to impeach. So they'll keep the shit show going for as long as possible. That's number one. Number two, it allows them to create a political scenario to justify federalization of elections, even though there's nothing to prove. So number one, it frustrates and slows down Donald Trump. It hamstrings him from having him accomplish what he needs to do at best, slows him down. And their hope is that they can concoct a story with the idiot Mueller and his team of the no-case posse and the circle-jerking connection, and they can circle-jerk their way all the way to the top to find some way to impeach this guy. Good luck. And number three, because they failed in Syria. They failed in Ukraine. The last battleground for the establishment to stop Russian energy dominance is DC. Do you get it? They failed in Syria. They failed in the Ukraine. And the last thing they got in order to stop Russia, the battleground is actually drawn right there in Washington, D.C., thanks to the narrative of the Russian hack. The Russian hack creates sanctions to prevent and put the very gonads of their European quote-unquote partners in a vice. It puts the European economy's nuts in a vice, and it begins to tighten like it's the nutcracker sweet. But there's nothing sweet when these nuts crack. Okay? That's what's going on. So the Russian sanctions have that threefold effect. The Russian hack story and the Russian collusion story and the Russian ballet, Russian vodka, Russian dressing stories have that type of collusion to it, has that type of connection to it, have that type of scenario to it, has that type of effect. Hamstring the president, create a pretext for federalizing elections, and prevent Russian energy expansion in Europe and frustrate the creation of the New Silk Road and or Eurasian trade zone. Frustrate it. You can't stop it. You're just going to frustrate it. That's why they had to put these sanctions on, and Russia's okay, we're going to go through the South Stream 2 pipeline. We're going to dip into Turkey and come back up. And Turkey says, F it, we're out of NATO. We're out of NATO. We don't want to be part of NATO. This is the grand chessboard that's being played. It is a multifaceted game, and there's multiple angles with multiple players on multiple sides. It's not black and white. Nothing in this world is black and white. Anybody tells you, the whole entire world, every little event is orchestrated by a select few at the very top, blah, 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 blah. These are not gods we're dealing with. These are fallible human beings. That's the Russian story. That's the hack story. That's the entire thing. Do you see how it connects? Is it clear to you now? That is the three-pronged effect of this entire Russia hack. It is frustrate the president, federalize the elections, and stop Russian expansion. Which brings me to the second and last piece that I'll probably get into. Yeah, I was going to touch base on the Harvard analyst who accused the Clintons of the largest charity fraud in history, which, you guys already know that. It's nothing new there. The fact of the matter is this. The road to European unity and prosperity has to go through Russia. It is that simple. Okay? It is that simple. There is no way for Europe and the world to balance itself without the multipolar world coming into fruition and coming into clarity, which it is. What we are all witnessing is the death rattles of a system. And when we see the death rattles of a system that is dying, you're going to hear some crazy stuff. You're going to hear things like, oh, it's going to be civil war. Do not listen to guys who are talking about fomenting civil war. These are men who have no freaking idea what's going on abroad. They have their capacity to even touch 1/10 of 1% of what I put out and what my team at Rogue Money puts out every freaking week, every damn day, is not even 1/10 of 1%. They don't understand the global geostrategic plays that are taking place. These are complex plays. Don't fall for it. Let the left do what they need to do. Let them fall on their own sword. They're right now self-immolating. Let's not give them any water to put that fire out. Let's not react back to them. They want us to react, so this way the establishment has an excuse to crack down on all of us. No. Let these idiots act out. That's why I get pissed off when I see guys who are out there on YouTube talking about a civil war. It's not a civil war. And you need to shut up. You need to shut up. So that's the real deal. What's going on, folks? Those are probably the biggest key takeaway of this entire day with news cycle. Everything else is just distraction. Doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. Cryptos are continuing on the move. So the bounce back of cryptos. Look, you know the deal. Hop on board. Get yourself situated. Get yourself solutions oriented. With that being said, we're at the end of the show. And we are over and out. And I guess I have to take it away by myself. CJ will be back on Monday, and we'll be returning back to normal. With that being said, folks, enjoy your day. Again, check us out, roguemoney.net, Rogue Money Twitter, @TheRogueMoney, Rogue Money Facebook, and, of course, the Rogue Money podcasting app. You can find us everywhere. And check out our sponsors, MyFreedomNow.us, MyFreedomNow.us. Get out of debt, fix your credit, and if your credit is pristine, you're good to go. You got a credit score of 680 or better. Find out how you can get funded so you can get cryptos, you can get money, you can get out of debt, you can do whatever the heck you want. MyFreedomNow.us. With that being said, it's the Gorilla. I'm over and I'm out.